Hello, hello, people. Um, this is the review video for Path of Exile 2, and yeah, it's been like almost 1 month. The game came out. Um, we kind of know that GG is watching maybe these videos, so maybe I can talk about stuff that they may listen to. Let's hope. And yeah, I have prepared myself a little note section, real quick, but I might be rambling about stuff here and there. It's uh it's not too well prepared, honestly, but whatever. I just wanted to say that I come from Diablo 2 and Diablo 1 mostly. I've been playing Path of Exile since it's out, pretty much in 2012, sorry. Before Onslaught League, so before their first league. It was very cool back then as well. Um, but I've mostly played Diablo 2, Diablo 1, and we can definitely tell that they went for a Diablo 1 vibe if you've played it, like how you have to watch your step before engaging some combat and stuff like this. Um, but yeah, maybe just people who have played Diablo 1 and Diablo 1 modded will see that because if you look at Diablo 1 on YouTube, it's really not the same. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to start with stuff that I don't like. Because I can't find much that I don't like about the game. The game is like completely amazing so far. Definitely feels a bit like a lot incomplete, let's say, but that doesn't matter at all. But yeah, like yesterday, I tried to find anything that I didn't really like, and there's not much really. Like, let's just say, mm, crafting crafting feels a bit weird. Like, it's just missing a little bit. Like, it's almost there. Like, we can see what they're trying to do. Maybe it's a test room to see how slam feels, but it's pretty much very basic. How to say that? You have to like constantly slam good stuff you find on the ground if you want to upgrade your gear, like SSF, so southbound. But otherwise, you just farm for whatever currency and then get your upgrades on the trade site. That doesn't feel weird. It's just the crafting part. Definitely you can craft, but it's more like mass craft and then take a little bit of what you crafted to maybe make money out of it. Um, so yeah. Otherwise, you have omens that are pretty deterministic, but they're very expensive and rare. You cannot just rely on those at all. Like you can, but you have to get a lot of currency to do so. Um, yeah. Crafting. Let me check. No, that's about it. The runes and soul core not being able to be removed, like with these hole sockets, feels definitely weird. And from everyone I've talked to, they all don't like it. But then here's my reason why. When you level, it's just weird to not be able to change your resistances around and have to find a new piece of gear just to fix that. Where they just got rid of the concept where you have to put gems into your gear and have the right color and the links so you can so your support gems works. Like they just fixed that and then they give us a concept that feels as worse with the gearing part. So definitely, I would love to be having a way just maybe to destroy your runes and place new ones in there, not necessarily just removing them and keeping them. I don't know. like runes and soul core. I don't know, even if it's costy or whatever, or if it's rare. I don't know. A little something would maybe need to be done, but otherwise, like it's not too bad. But it's definitely something I don't like. Um, we have. Oh yeah, they've talked about that in an interview. I can't remember which one. Jonathan Rogers said the reason why we don't they didn't add rune words is because we only like the power of it and not the concept of it. And I can tell you, like, it's so wrong. Um, I don't know how long they've been playing. Like, they haven't played Diablo 2, but the concept around rune words is not just the rune word. It's actually the runes and the bases. And the runes in Diablo 2 was like a whole currency value out of it. Like we were like super hyped and high rune drops. They weren't too rare, but definitely rare enough to make them valuable. And just the concept of bases as well is really good. And they could have like really made it better, where like maybe it's limited to norm and magic items, and then the magic items would be very nice to maybe craft or find on the ground, just or just buy on the trade site, right? Um, but then play with rune words in there, like it would have been awesome. I really was hoping to see something like that over there, but they just skipped it and told us bad excuses. So that's definitely a miss. Um, but yeah, it's whatever. At the same time, we still have like a lot of itemization still. And yeah, otherwise, the core game is like amazing. Like the just playing the game is very good. Every stuff about like doing the campaign feels really good. The places are beautiful. Skills most of the times feels good. But there's definitely skills that are just made quickly or just missed. Like most of the mace skills are very slow and clunky, and definitely they need to patch these. Like even if with a lot of attack speed, they still feel slow. It's so weird. Um, but yeah, it needs polishing, but then like everywhere. But then the game is already good, I would say. The graphic are very good. Like they're very beautiful. Like right now, I'm running on the lowest graphic, and it still feels really good. Where is it? There. Everything is at the lowest, and it still is very very beautiful. So definitely the graphics are good, but then sometimes they're like too good. Like we're gonna have skills that has way too many particles when they attack, and it just feels so weird. Like you cannot see anything. Let's say shockwave totem is very weird. It just like throws rocks absolutely everywhere, and you cannot see anything. Like if there's undead effect, good luck. Like it's crazy. But then like they're probably gonna tweak some stuff over there. I'm not too scared about it, but at the same time they could not, and whatever, just play something else. But that's bad if you have to play something else because the visuality of a skill is bad. They definitely have to do so. Also in PoE1, maybe you're not gonna like what I'm gonna say, but like there's a lot of MTX, and some of them made the visuality way better. Like let's say Spark, there's like a dark version of Spark which makes it so clear. Like you barely see your Spark every like even if it's everywhere, you still see every single animation and attack from any monsters. It just feels good. Um, But then it's kind of a pay to win. Yes, I do agree. But at least it has an unintentional solution somewhere, you know? Like the solution is somewhere. That's what I'm trying to say. Um, and a lot of stuff are like that in PU1. Um, right now we have barely any microtransaction and cannot do anything about it, so we have to suffer a little bit. But yeah, and there's some maps that are like visuality awful for the how do you call that, the combat, like Decay, the Mushroom Cavern map. The holes in there and the lake is like the exact same color as the ground, and it's very hard while in combat to see where you're going. Like you're getting stuck everywhere in that map. It's so weird. Um Definitely needs polishing over there. Um and a lot of these maps has a lot of stuff like this. Like it's at some point too realistic, you know? Like it's like bringing a camera into a dark place. Like, yes, it's beautiful. It's realistic, but it's too dark. You know, stuff like that. It may be a bad comparison, but whatever. You might get the point there. Um, and here's a part of the video where I want to talk about things that I kind of refuse to judge as a review, but people might still need to be aware of. And it's mostly like we're missing way too many stuff in the game right now, like skill gem wise or classes, you know, or let me just show you the skill gem. It's a really good example. These coming soon is absolutely everywhere. If I just open up the list, it's there's already enough holes everywhere. Like it's crazy. Let's see these. These are like halfway there, not even. Um, and we judge the game by its current version, but then the current version is like pretty much the most like simple version of the game they could have made to have like a campaign and an end game, you know? Like before there was these beta, but these beta were just like Act 1 or Act 2 or whatever, you know? There weren't complete version. This is the like the most simple complete version we can have. And like we're missing so many base type like flail, sword, axe, spears, like a lot of skills gonna be bound to them as well. Yeah. So it's really hard to judge the game, but we're just doing our best here. Um, then there's like attack animations that definitely we can say they're really bad. Like I said, like the warrior can feel really bad. Uh, Actually, I don't know if I talked about this. Like I've tried to record this video like 3 times already, and there's random stuff happening, so I had to stop. And I'm bad at editing, so maybe there's stuff that I think I already talked about, but I didn't. But yeah, the attack animations, like let's say the warrior is extremely slow and clunky, and it's like yes, right now it's bad. Right now it feels way worse than let's say Mana Spark or whatever, you know, anything that is very good currently in the game. Stimpede from the warrior, like just like you try to aim into a pack and a single enemy gonna makes you turn around 90 degrees and gonna hit nothing, and it's just so weird. um and definitely a lot of these skills gonna get patched. Either they're too weak, either they're broken as shit. Like Tri Stacker right now is a really good example. You have like a lot of attack speed from the build, from dexterity, right? And that attack speed transformed the animation of the attack into like movement speed. Um, and maybe they're gonna fix that. Maybe they're gonna limit the movement speed you get out of it. Like maybe I don't know. We never know. But right now we can play a lot of broken stuff, and it's hard to judge by this. Um, Definitely in the EA when they update stuff, like it's gonna feel more and more like what they intend to do with the game, and not what it is right now. So there's that. Bossing as well is another aspect where like some of them feels very nice to learn, very good to play, and some of them just feels not too hard, but completely unfair. Like you can do it if you have enough damage, but if you have to do some phases, let's say on the last pinnacle boss, like there's phases that are just awful. Like you have to do the mechanic while the boss is like ragdolling you everywhere and like knockbacking you, and it just makes you fail the mechanics because he's allowed to attack you while you have to get from point A to point B as fast as you can, and it's like, what the heck? What was I supposed to do? You know. So even if you try to learn these fights, you might get killed by just some bullshit mechanic. You know. So definitely bossing can be hard to judge, and it's it's good to say that the vision that they have for the boss fights are really good, but it's hard to say that they're all really good. They're not all really good, as I said. So, but definitely they did a good job there. But last thing that I don't want to judge too much is the content of the end game content is boring, or let's talk about like ritual. Ritual is like very easy, very boring, but very rewarding, and it feels kind of off. But the thing is, they didn't change any of the endgame mechanic from PV1 to PV2, and I was really hoping for maybe a new version of it, like mostly Delirium. I was hoping to see something out of it because we were really expecting to see maybe the illusionist behind Delirium, you know, like as a boss fight or whatever. Um, or just a new way to interact with Delirium. But currently, Delirium is bugged, or uh, it just feels bad. Like you can spawn these monsters in the little pods that they appear with, but then they're invulnerable for like a whole second. They just push you, run towards you, push you, and then maybe they don't deal damage while they push you, but it just feels weird. You almost don't want to like make them appear, you know, where the goal is to kill as many delirium monsters to increase the reward and get simulacrum splinters and maybe do the boss after that, or just the simulacrum, I mean. But yeah, so the end game content are 100% rushed and clunky, and well, not all clunky, but there's definitely a lot of flaws in there, and they're just the same as PV1, which is sad. The boss fights are new though, but the content itself is the same. But yeah, so here was the thing. So I kind of don't want to judge it too much. Like it's just an incomplete game. But yeah, um, let's say a lot of people are thinking the game is like beginner friendly or whatever, but it's just not. Um, the passive tree is still like overwhelming to look at first. Just to do and to put like your first viewpoints to know where you're going, you just don't. For a lot of these new players to the RPG style, like a good example to try to be better at it is just to look at the tags of your attack, you know, to maybe have a better understanding of where you're going in the passive tree, right? If I go attack, like you can see a lot of these wheels starting up to shine, which is pretty good. Like, and a lot, like that's the way I first like did my first tree, right? my first character, my first tree, I just had to type like spells, mana, crit, lightning, like anything I like a brainstorm of like tags and words that I knew it would maybe match. I just had to do it and then get comfortable, like take a whole 5 minutes and get comfortable to the passive tree where like where stuff. Like if I go spells, okay, here we have some AoE. It reduces AoE, but it increases spell damage. Okay, it reduces spell damage, it increases AoE. Okay, cool. Have some spell crit, spell crit, spell crit, spell, like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go that way. You can also go like lightning. Whoops. Come on. But just to say that it's not a beginner that's gonna think like this. I can 100% tell you this. Unless you're used to do that kind of thing in an aspect of your life, like maybe, but at first in video games like this, like nah. Lightning, you have a lot of lightning pen, you have a lightning cluster there, more lightning pen, you know. These just add mechanics and cast speed, chance to shock. What's our first chance to shock, and what? How much do they gain with just an increase 40% chance? It's not a raw percent chance. It's weird. Like the wording also gonna be weird at some point. Like example, increased chance to shock. Yeah, I don't think it's wrote anywhere. If I look at the skills, where cannot inflict shock. Okay, wait. Let me remove that. Now that I can inflict shock, element, nothing over there. Like there's some stuff that you have to do your research on, and it's just not in the game. Um, the thing is, it's based on how hard you hit, and then that threshold is augmented by the chance to shock. So stuff like this, you're not gonna understand it. But just writing tags in the search is like already not intuitive for a lot of new players. Just that as an example is my way to say like it's not very beginner friendly. Um, like beginner friendly basically means you don't need a lot of concept to create like an ARPG, let's say, to create a character that can complete the game. You don't need a lot of knowledge, or you do, but at the same time it's just intuitive if you need a lot of knowledge. Um, a lot of the things in PV1 or PV2, I mean, is not intuitive at all. So that's about it. Like if your first build or what did I say? First build or like self-made build is just turning out to be not good. Like you might have to check online for like others build like yours, like with gem setups, or have a third party tool. Start using a third party tool like part of building that we had in PV1, just so you can check like your DPS and stuff, and where's your upgrades gonna be. But that's not like intuitive. You have to go online for it, you know. So definitely there's missing a lot of tools in game to call it a beginner friendly game. So yeah, I just had to say that because it's nothing bad that it's not a beginner friendly. Like to me, I love complicated games, but maybe to a lot of people they're gonna feel it's not a good game because it's not for them as a beginner. It's gonna be still a hard game to get in. Like a lot of people gonna say it's less complicated than PV1, but it's still complicated. Let's say. So yeah. Um, let's see. Good stuff. Good stuff. The classes and builds are just amazing already. Like we're seeing some really good archetype and very fun way to play the game. Like okay, I wanna talk about this item maybe. Because it's a really good example. Okay, Temporalist is something that it's an armor that reduced by a decimal seconds of this is that the word like a flat amount of the cooldown of your like all your skills. Right now there is some broken stuff to do with it, right? But it's one of the hardest items to acquire in the game because you need to do like a hitless run into the Trial of Sycamus, and for most people, it's almost impossible. Let's say you can do the whole trial, but you're in the fight, like the boss fight, most people that are doing these runs are just obliterating the boss to not do the mechanics. Um, they just solo it, right? They don't do any carries. They just want the boss to be as fast as possible. But for most mortals, like it's gonna be impossible to do a hitless run. So it's a really hard items to acquire, let's say. But then there's broken stuff going on with it, like infinite loop of crit damage, like crit procs and stuff like that. But the concept of it, I believe, it's like if they tried to create their own enigma in the game. Because with Blink, it allows you to have no cooldown on Blink. Blink is just a skill that replaces your dodge roll. Instead of rolling, you're just gonna teleport literally, and it removes the cooldown out of it. It's like a 3 second cooldown, I think, at first, and then you can reduce it. But that can remove it entirely. But the thing is, the the item is extremely expensive at first. Like, yes, there was some bullshit, not duping, but everyone calls it duping. It's not even duping. It's just that they were making like multiple instances of the boss fight, and they were just like doing the boss like 10 times in a row, maybe, and getting the armor multiple time with multiple instances. But like they gone cheap. I bought this one for like 22 div. Maybe I shouldn't have bought it because we never know who got it legit or who didn't. But then they fixed that way to do it, and it's now, I don't know, maybe they didn't fix it entirely, I'm not sure, but it's whatever. Just to say that there's some really cool item and really cool build around stuff like this that exists right now, and I'm very happy with the direction they're going with the game already, because yes, the most broken stuff are like very good, but they're also very expensive. Something that I think they might increase the like reduce the drop rate is maybe this belt. This belt is like either almost better or way better than Mage Blood before, and um maybe not better, but pretty much on the same page. And this one is way too cheap for what it does. Basically, it's like I bought this like 22 div like 3 times and got the 75% increase. But 22 div, it's like if you have a good farming strat of just mapping, you can buy like 3 of those a day. It's not even that much. In PoE1, at first, you maybe get your first Mage Blood if you know what you're doing, like correctly and normally. Let's say you're not a racer, you're not someone abusing something, you're not a bosser, because any bosser can make a lot of money anyway. But yeah, you're just mapping. Maybe you'll get this item in like 1 week at least. I don't know, but that sounds average to me. And this you can get it super early, like in 3 days or 2 days. You can have it literally. Let's say three, just to be fair. Of the start of a league. So it's definitely some stuff are really cool, but they feel like too cheap, and some stuff are really cool, very powerful, and very rare. And I don't think they're gonna completely annihilate items that people think that are broken. I think they're just gonna make it more the way they want it to be, and that's it. Um, but yeah, builds are definitely very cool in this game. It's very worth if you like doing builds, um, like enjoying a game for how broken it can be or how powerful it can be. People were all expecting the game to be extremely slow and clunky, but at the end, it felt kind of like the PoE1 end game. Maybe a little bit less intense, but definitely still feels as powerful for the content we have and, how much easy it can get, basically. So that's cool. Um, Refund cost. I would say refund cost is completely fine. I've seen a lot of people complaining about it. I completely disagree. They already made it less expensive, and the thing is, my first character was a brick. I I bricked it by trying out like other skills, um, and completely ruining myself. And I just couldn't get the skills to work. And I just said, like, fuck it, I'll just remake a new character. I mean, actually, it's not too much of a big deal. It's like whatever. And a lot of these people are just like crying over the fact that their build are bricked without just considering just doing a new run or whatever. Like in Elden Ring, um, example, I my first run I just went like I'm gonna go blind, I'm not gonna follow anything. It was completely crap, okay? Like I went like strength dex like a Dark Souls 2 player, and it was just super awful to do strength decks with stuff that I didn't know it was in the game. Let's say like a lot of stuff are just hidden in a lot of dungeons, and you have to explore the whole game and the whole maps to find out like stuff that you can build around. But as a first one, it was just really hard, and I just said, "Fuck it, I'll just watch maybe like video online that can maybe help me make a character." And after literally one video, I could do the whole game. Like it's not even that hard to like understand the game via internet or just try something else. Like the refund cost is there as it is, so you can have more importance of when you choose something to just like have to put more effort into like knowing what you're doing, right? Like I know Ben is probably really good, so I'm probably gonna keep these nodes and try to build around it. Oh, give me one sec. Um, but yeah, there just a lot of people go really blind, but a bit too blind, and I don't agree with like, oh my god, I tried to do absolutely anything and everything, and I just went with some stupid shit, and now I cannot refund. Well, you went stupid. My bad, but you went stupid. Um, but yeah, there's just that I wanted to say. Please don't lower it too much. Like it would just feel stupid and excusing bad players. But yeah, um, I would say I'm a big leveling campaign enjoyer, as it might sound. But mostly I love the way you can boost a character in this game. It's really cool. Like they already did an update where if you get your last ascendancy trial, like if you complete it, it gives you all of the points if you haven't completed an ascendancy yet. And the way you can use that is like you can basically pay a cheap, like fairly cheap carry to the last one, which is like maybe 40x at the time of recording, 40 to 50x at most. Like, don't get baited by divines. And just have all of your ascendancy points. And dude, like, we couldn't do that in PoE1. In PV1 you had to like, I think you could do that, but you had to do one by one and basically have the whole path clear to not get hit. And that was just stupid annoying, and nobody would do any carries for that because it was just too annoying to lose your carry because he died like behind and you didn't clear it enough or whatever, or he died in traps like a noob. So that was just impossible. I've never seen someone achieving it um, by a carry or by a friend or whatever. So I do feel, and right now it is a meta. Just if you want to remake a character, you just can do that, and it feels amazing. Jeweler's orb are also something you can do. You can uh, get your 5 sockets into any gems level 1. That's really cool. Before it was tabula, and that was pretty much the same concept. But then people would get stuck with tabula for way too long. Now it's more like if you have the 6 socket, the 5 socket currency, maybe you'll use it on a new character that you absolutely know where to go with. But most of the time, you're gonna limit yourself to like 3 socket or maybe 4 socket, because the fifth one is pretty expensive, for maybe a new player that want to remake a build. But still, it is an option. It's really cool. Gem cutters, prism are just easy drops at some point. You stop using them, so you have plenty of them to just make any tweak leveling build 20% quality. That's really cool. There was one last thing. You have uniques, leveling uniques, just like in PV1, but now you can slam the. Do I have an example? Yes, I do. You can slam the stats to be higher or lower their current value, which is really cool. Let's say this stats right here, chance to not destroy corpse when consuming corpse is usually 25. I've slammed it for 29. It's been way too long in my stash. That's not the current value. I just forgot about it. But yeah, it's really cool to be able to do that. And game wise, it's really useful. But even early game wise, like you can start tweaking your items here and there for releveling new characters, like popular uniques and stuff like that. Um, Good example is like Pillar of the Cage God is a level 1 unique. You can just like and it's a really popular build, and you can start like it. I mean, it's a really popular leveling build, which I completely agree with. It's like the most powerful leveling build for no investment at all that any class can do, and it's really awesome. I'll probably always do that. Um, but yeah, you can basically just tweak the gear setup over a leg to just be safe at releveling a character. So that's really cool that way. Um, I don't think I'm missing anything for tweak leveling, but yeah, there's probably more stuff, honestly. Yeah. Um, it is. What did I write there? Yeah. It is a really solid version of the game for now, but they probably rushed it, and we probably got it way too soon compared to what a first public version of the game should have been. But honestly, I'm cool with it. I don't care. In it really makes us like dream about the game more and more, and we're just so hype about like the incoming updates because the game is scuffed a little bit. It's very good, but it's scuffed, and we want a lot of things to be fixed, not changed, but fixed. And we're just hyped for the next update. They've been teasing us, edging us for the fuck. Sorry for the language, but in December is like they got the game out. They did like 2 or 3 update, and then they went in vacances and didn't touch the game. Let the server be scuffed, and now it sounds like they're back. they're doing hotfix to fix some duping stuff, like major stuff, but like yeah, um, it's still like we need some updates. We're hyped for it, and it makes us really enjoy the game still. Dreaming and talking about what's gonna be the next nerf, what's gonna be the next update, you know? Like I've been I'm always on Discord checking who's where on which servers just to be able to talk about the game and chill with people, you know? It's a really good time. We have like so many people in here. Uh it really brought a lot of my good old homies back into gaming that was just like not there anymore. And I feel like it's probably the same for a lot of people. It's really nice, man. It's a really good time here. Um, Now I just want to finish with like stuff that I hope they might add, and it's probably not gonna happen. But or stuff that will happen, but you know, we'll see. Um, and there's three things. There's SSF, Soul Self Found, which I would love to see if they don't want us to craft too much, maybe just help SSF to have a bit more options. Because right now, SSF, like, I have a lot of SSF friends around me, and they are all saying, like, getting upgrades is at some point, you don't really craft for them, you just hope for a good item to drop and slam them, and that's it. You know, there's not much to do in SSF. You're not getting all the omens in the world to craft your shit and all the essences. Like it's just really harsh and mostly like jewels. Jewels are rare. Well, rare. The one that you need are rare in SSF. So yeah, they're they're having maybe a little rough time compared to trade league here. Because in PoE1, like the game is very complete and has a lot of options for crafting and making your own gear. Like a lot of people, even in Trade League, plays this SF because it's so well made. You know, like here it's just so harsh. And yeah, I would love to, because in what's the game? Last Epoch. The Last Epoch crafting is like extremely well made, and there's also like the guild, the type of guild like mechanic that they have, where you can be in the traders guild or the SSF guild, where the traders can basically trade and get their item, but the SSF get just better loot of the ground, and that could be also something that could be cool just for SSF. Um, Second thing, I won the good old race. Uh, it's not a lot of people that have known the race because they've been gone for a while now. And good old race like Endless Ledge and Endless Delve and stuff like that was just basically a completely new game that like it had nothing to do with what we knew. Uh, like it was just so different. It was just so cool. Like in the Endless Ledge, there was every like it's like if you're doing the ledge complete the whole map, and whenever you reach an like next how to explain that every tree instance you get a chest with a bunch of with a bunch of things and like a mirror of Kalandra or some stuff like that, and it was just so funny to have like mirrors for free like this in a race and cool concept like this. And the race that we know that we now know is just Gauntlet, I guess, is the only thing that people have seen recently, and it's not really a race. It is because there's prize rewards for killing all the bosses and shit, but the race is like extremely long, right? The only reward that most people got into Gauntlet is just finishing the campaign. But you're still doing the campaign. And races back then was just completely different. It was nothing about the campaign. Or you would have had like some events with with which was it was like one area it with a bunch of chests and people were just killing each other. It was a big brawl of PvP, and you could just when someone would die, he would drop everything from I think his inventory and gear, or just his gear. I don't remember. But then you would basically kill for loot, and it was so damn amazing. Like I wish the PvP of that event was like online constantly. Like that was honestly the best PvP in a game that I've seen so far. It was just the most enjoyable. It was so damn cool. And let's say PvP in an RPG. But yeah, like good old stuff like this. I wish they bring back. They said they're gonna bring some race back, but I doubt about that they're gonna go that far into special stuff, let's say. And the third thing that I really wish they could oh wait, I typed that. Okay, before I enter into that topic, let's just talk about item market. Um I heard people saying that they might bring the item market just as the currency market, but for everything, right? Not just stackable items. Um, Please confirm in the comments because I can't find any confirmation on the internet about this. I don't know where it's been said, but could be very cool. Fix a lot of the problems with like price fixing, botting, or whatever, you know. A lot of good stuff could be fixed by this. I think what I heard from people that heard it is like they probably gonna bring it, but not for everything. Once again, there's there's some stuff that they don't want to put in there, basically. But we'll see, man. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah. So last thing I really want to talk about. I know the video is a bit long. But it's private leagues, and private leagues, as it is in PoE one, sorry, but they just sucks. Like it's cool concept to do a private league around like your favorite streamer or your friends as a group self-found thing, but the stats that you can give to the private leagues are just boring, literally boring. Like they could do so much more with private leagues. Let's say it could almost be like modding the game, right? One sec. It could be like you can change like item stats, passive tree, gem stats or skills, boss skills, maps, map mods and density. Currently, the private leagues just apply a mod for any instance, so like it increases the damage, it has damage pen or like whatever. But I believe you cannot increase the density or such things. Um, bring back some cool itemization concept, such as like PoE one charms. In Affliction, we had a system where we had charms that was like a baby version of ascendancies, just like the Cyan, but like you could have it on any characters, and that was just like exploding the build diversity. That was really cool. Bench crafting and recombinators, stuff like this, you know. Like if we could just make our own game, our own version of PoE, and have much more fun by doing so when we get bored of PoE, you know? Like, of course, it can bring people outside of the main league servers and isolate themselves over there because it's way too cool. But that doesn't really it's not a good excuse to not do that. I think the excuse that they have, like by not doing so, is they just put their effort somewhere else. They put their resource and effort somewhere else. Like I know Pewee is not easy to update and do all the stuff that we are asking and hoping for, or even them what they are hoping for with the game. And that's probably the case where we don't have much good private leagues. But I really hope they're doing more effort into that. Um, and yeah, that's about it. That was the video I wanted to make. Um, Let me know if I'm wrong about any stuff. I'm trying to just give a good image of what I see in the game, um, and maybe it can encourage some people about like coming over the EA and have fun over there. It's a really good version of the game already, and have fun with it. So yeah, I'll uh, I'll try to make some more videos for the game. I just started basically for Pewee, and yeah, it's a really good time over here.